Welcome back, True Seeker. It is the leap day, February 29th, 2024, the 60th day of the year. And of course, later this year, we'll have the 60th quadrennial U.S. presidential election. Of course, every 4 years, thus quadrennial. Again, it'll be the 60th. And back in 1960, we know JFK was elected and his demise came in Texas. So here on the 60th day of the year, we have Biden and Trump competing in Texas, wildfires raging, and they're both pointing the finger at each other over the border crisis. We're going to, again, go down memory lane and talk about how important 60 is to this election and the many things we've been documenting since Donald Trump's ex-wife fell down the stairs and died exactly 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year. And I want to start off this stream by sending a shout out to John Mendoza. Of course, both Donald Trump and Joe Biden are both Jesuit educated men. And out of all these years, I was overlooking that the original Jesuit order consisted of 60 members. 60. Like Trump's dead wife, 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year, which ran longer than a typical calendar year, thus how it could be 60 weeks in. If you're new here, we will be talking about gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, where 60 corresponds with order, as in the Jesuit order, which both Trump and Biden are members of. And again, if you're new here, in the 16th century, the Jesuits were created, and then some decades later, the Jesuits rolled out the calendar that now says today's February 29, 2024. And at that same moment in history, the English language was standardized with the 26-letter alphabet we use today. Of course, the first and the oldest Catholic script, or English script, is credited to a Catholic monk, Burford of Ramsey Abbey. But let's look at how 60 this is on the 60th day of the year, and then we'll touch on a few other things. So Joe Biden today was in Brownsville, and Donald Trump was in Eagle Pass, where Fox News has had their cameras mounted for the last year and a half straight at least. And notice, Brownsville, Texas, Eagle Pass, Texas. They both happen to have gematria of 60. If you're new here, gematria is very simple. It's the alphabetic order forwards, it's the alphabetic order in reverse, and it's both orders with numerology. And when you run it forwards with numerology, Brownsville, TX is 60, just like how you'd write it on an envelope. When you write it in reverse numerology, Eagle Pass, TX is a 60 as well, going with the 60th day of the year. And as we know, Donald Trump equals 60. We've hammered that point home about a bazillion times. So again, the upcoming election, the 60th, and in light of the Jesuits and how important 60 is to them, how perfect is it that this election falls on November 5th, which is Guy Fawkes Day. Very important to the Jesuits. Bear with me, you guys. I'm sorry. I've been waiting for this phone call all week, and it has to come right now. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, apologies. Part of me is like, should I just start the stream over? It's always great when your stream has a nice interruption right in the beginning. But anyhow, again, 60th election, all this 60 business. Here we are on the 60th day of the year. The most divisive issue right now is the border. And understand, it's not going to be Trump or Biden who resolves it. They're just the puppets on the world stage, letting the New World Order do what it's doing to the U.S. and the world, for that matter. But scrolling down in the news today, Biden says that the new term for illegal immigrants is newcomers. And again, where is it? Where's my prop? What is 47? We have our latest What is 47? The newcomers who are slipping through Biden's, or not Biden's, but, well, I guess it's Biden's too. Biden was talking about continuing the border wall. Trump's border wall with all the holes in it. The Swiss cheese border wall. But of course, border wall 47, like newcomers. Of course, Trump is running on agenda 47. And who remembers back in 2020 when Donald Trump was saying he's done more in 47 months than Biden's done in 47 years? And again, remember, Joe Biden was the nation's 47th vice president. He took office with 47-year-old Obama. In 2016, when Trump won the election, he was in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel. But in Gematria, presidents 47, like White House, like government, like authority, like Republican, like Whig, like Democrat, like DC, like Trump. And it goes all the way back to the cornerstone being laid for DC on September 18th, 1793 by George Washington, which was a date with 47 numerology. But yeah, the newcomers. just the jokes never end, man. And just speaking of jokes, supposedly 7.2 million illegals have entered the U.S. under the Biden administration. I mean, that number is super suspect because notice, President Biden equates to 72. President Trump equates to 72. You run it in reverse, both of their names equal 81. And again, Biden supposedly got 81 million votes, hailing from Scranton on Interstate 81. And let's not forget, Joe Biden became senator-elect in 72, and then his wife and daughter died in a car crash. That was a big Jesuit ritual. And then when he was 72 years old, Beau Biden, he's Joe Biden Jr., Beau Biden died at age 46, and then eventually he became President Biden, number 46, exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Of course, JFK was number 46, the nation's first Catholic president, and Catholic equals 46 in Gematria. You run it the other way, it equals 35, like JFK was number 35, killed at age 46 on Interstate 35. But from today to the upcoming election is a span of 251 days, which is the 54th prime number. And notice how Jesuit orders 54 and 72. In the original Jesuit order, 60 members. The word order alone is 60. And to go down memory lane with the 60s, last year, they reported that 60% of Americans approved of the indictments of Donald Trump. You know? And with regards to the word indictment itself, and remember, it all started with Alvin Bragg. Indictment equals 60, Alvin Bragg 60, Donald Trump 60. You can see all those words are 48 forwards. And if Biden does not finish his term and Kamala has to finish the final months, it's possible Donald Trump could come in there as the nation's second Grover Cleveland, meaning split term president. Remember, Cleveland was number 22 and number 24. Only split term president. Donald Trump announced at the end of 2022 that he was running for 2024. And a lot of people criticized him, and they said, this is too early to announce for 2024. It's like, yeah, it's because it's a ritual. And don't forget, in Gematria, Cleveland equals 48 and 78. And Trump's going to turn 78 later this year. There's 78 cards in the tarot deck. The top cards are the Trump cards. Cleveland equals 48. Trump very well could become number 48. He could also become number 47, which would also make sense if Biden does finish. But let's not forget that Trump had his convention in Cleveland in 2016 either. And let's also not forget that they both had mail order brides from the same part of the world and were both overweight. And anyway, all of this stuff is just one big joke. And if you forget how sick the jokes are, Donald Trump appeared in court in New York because of the Alvin Bragg indictment right after they filmed the latest Joker scene. And Trump was in court on April 4th, what would have been the 44th birthday of Heath Ledger, who died while playing Joker. And Trump was number 45, like Berlin Wall equals 45, and he was called 45th elect on the anniversary of the fall of the wall. He was number 45, but he was the 44th person to be president because, again, Grover Cleveland screwed up the count because he was a split-term president. So after Grover Cleveland was number 22 and number 24, you know, the president who was number 25 was the 24th person to be president, and so on. So Biden's, number 46, but he's the 45th person to be president. And if Trump gets back in there, then it's not going to change the person count. So he'd be whatever number, but anyway, you get the point. So yeah, how perfect, how perfect. And then to go back to the biggest Jesuit ritual of all, and again, just how the Jesuits began with originally 60 members, the Jesuit order, when order is 60. Ivana, when she died, she fell downstairs, was how they worded it. Fell downstairs, funny enough, has gematria of 60. And from the start of the Jesuit Ignatian year, which is the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola getting shot by a cannonball, May 20th. And remember, Billy Cannon died the other year on May 20th. Ignatius of Loyola shot by a cannonball on May 20th. Billy Cannon dead the same day Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State to LSU. And again, Billy Cannon, the only Heisman winner at LSU before Joe Burrow became the second one. And then Joe Burrow beat Clemson in the championship in New Orleans, just like Billy Cannon did. And then the year Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl, he played all 4 teams in the playoffs that Billy Cannon played for. And again, this year we got another Cannon joke. Donald Trump will be in court on May 20th, 2024 with Judge Eileen Cannon. Again, these are all Jesuit jokes. But the Jesuit Ignatian year ended July 31st, 2022. It went from the anniversary of Ignatius Loyola being shot with a cannonball to the anniversary of Ignatius Loyola's death. And don't forget what they did on the last day of the Jesuit Ignatian year. They killed Bill Russell. Bill Russell was Jesuit educated. He went to University of San Francisco and played for the Boston Celtics. Well, he died right after San Francisco beat Boston in the NBA Finals in a ritual that was perfectly synced with the Pope. And, we had it that year. Go back and look at what happened between Boston and the Warriors on the Pope's birthday, December 17th that season. You'll see the Celtics fell to 7-5 at home, losing to the Warriors on the Pope's birthday. That was the 75th anniversary season. And then the Warriors became 7-5 in finals. And they gave the Celtics their 75th home loss in the playoffs all time the day they lost the finals. And the Celtics, I'm going to have to flip this around real quick. Pope Francis does equal 122 like San Francisco does. And that matters because Pope Francis is named after St. Francis of Assisi, just like San Francisco is. And San Francisco's on the 122nd meridian. But when you run it in reverse, Pope Francis is 175. And the Celtics fell to 17-5 versus the Warriors that year. Again, just the way how all this stuff is scripted and the Jesuits are controlling all. Rigged elections, rigged sports. And we've shown how they come together so many times. By the way, if you just noticed that San Francisco's 202, look what they did this year in the Super Bowl. They said it had 202 million viewers. It was Andy Reid's 202nd game with the Chiefs that they beat the 49ers. The state of Missouri is 202 years old, and the Chiefs picked up their 202nd home win since Montana got his 3rd ring. Of course, Montana played for the Niners and the Chiefs, and this year Mahomes got his 3rd ring. And then, by the way, those Texas wildfires just started near Mahomes' old stomping grounds. Texas Tech Red Raiders, like the Super Bowl was in the Raiders building. And the Texas fire, again, it began 15 days after the Super Bowl, like Texas equals 15 and he wears 15. But it also began 202 days after the Maui fires, which were a huge ritual as well. And there's another important 202, and that's the powerful Order Skull and Bones, which is also related because they're related to the Templars and the Templar cross and the Jesuit logo because it's all Catholic at the end of the day. And it's why George Herbert Walker Bush, Mr. Skull and Bones, was born on the day, leaving 202 days left in the year. But anyway, just coming back to this. We've been talking about this nonstop since it happened. How Trump's ex-wife was clearly sacrificed in a Jesuit ritual 60 weeks into the Jesuit Ignatian year. Before that, his brother had died on the Jesuit order's birthday. He lost a sister last year by the numbers in another ritual on the same day that his son appeared in court. And of course, his sister was a lawyer appointed by Ronald Reagan, who ran on Make America Great Again. Also with all the parallels to Trump and Reagan. Here, let me put up the base ciphers real quick. We just need the alphabetic order with numerology and in reverse. But you see how Skull and Bones is also 41, like Herbert Walker Bush was number 41, and his other son in Skull and Bones was born on 7/6, reminding us the Guidestones came down on July 6th on Bush's 76th birthday. But, shoot, I just had a brain freeze. What was I about to say before that? I went to the Georgia Guidestones and I forgot the point I was going to make. Shoot. It slipped out of my brain. For the record, Skull and Bones 149, that's the 35th prime. JFK was born on the 149th day of the year. Became number 35. Again, Catholics 35, 46. JFK number 35, killed at age 46. Joe Biden number 46, the second Catholic, inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. Donald Trump born in 56, like George W. Bush and Bill Clinton. There's a reason that these numbers just come up so often. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the thing I was about to say that slipped out of my mind. It's okay. It's okay. The main point is just all the 60s and that they have to go down to, the hottest political topic right now. By the way, what's wrong with Greg Abbott? Why is he in a wheelchair? I didn't realize he was I didn't realize he was wheelchair bound. But yeah, it's one big 660 show. And here, let me see if I have it actually in this post. There were this headline right here emerged prior to the news breaking about the death of his ex-wife. And notice it was a 72-page report. We just talked about 72, right? President Trump, President Biden, Jesuit order, 72 names of God in Kabbalah, 72 demons in the Goetia. And notice, just Jesuit order and conservative are also 72. And here, I just want you to see that it was based on 60 cases. Where's the 60 part in this? Right here. This 72-page report was based on 60 court cases. And this is before the indictment 60 and Trump having to be in court left and right. I mean, all this stuff, you guys, it's nothing but theater. Like literally political theater. And you know that terminology, political theater. The theater of war. The world's a stage. Again, we the people are allowing ourselves to get played by theater. Again, the revolution's long overdue. Remember, Thomas Jefferson said there should be a revolution every 19 years to preserve liberty. And I used to always wonder why he said every 19 years, but now I get it. Again, the moon's on a 19-year cycle, and the psychopath cabal operates by that code. That's why the war on drugs came 19 years before the war on terror, which came 19 years before the war on germs. Now it's all so clear. And they're still calling the damn thing COVID-19. But, yeah, you just follow the numbers. And there's plenty of other stories but that I'm not even covering. It's just those are some of the really big highlights. And by the way, so if you go back to this day, July 14th, the day that all these things happened, I'll show you what else is interesting about July 14th, besides it just being 60 weeks into the Jesuit Ignatian year. The first story that day was that Trump hinted he would be running in the 60th presidential election. Then this came out, this news, the conservatives against Trump, and then the news broke that his wife fell down the stairs and died. But the thing about July 14th is it can be written 14/7, like U.S. President's 147 and President of the United States is 147. And then also Freemasons 147. And again, not American. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. And, the word conspiracy is 147. And I don't know, you can say that all this is a coincidence. But if it's not a coincidence, then it's a conspiracy. So here, there was a gentleman who said he wanted to call in later today if I did a live stream, and I'm hoping he's out there watching right now. If you would like to join the stream, I'm going to put the link to join, or if you want to call in, I'll also open up the phone number. And for everyone waiting on this new podcast that we're going to start, I haven't done that yet. Like I said, this next week's going to be busy because I have to deal with a whole bunch of personal matters going on. But okay. For the person who wants to call in, if you're out there, now is the time. I know you already know the number, but yeah, if somebody wants to add on to this, maybe you have something else that you observed. Again, if you want to call in, let's be on topic. It's about the election. That's the topic, the election, the news in Texas, the wildfires. We can add in about that, okay? The wildfires is the one, we're throwing nothing but fastballs here in the election for this stream. The slider you can throw is the Texas wildfires because it's not too far off the mark. The border's also okay, too, because that's what they're down there talking about. Maybe you have some good observations about rituals they're doing with the border. So if you want to call in, there's a number, and then there's also this link that's in the chat. And either way, you can call the phone number or you can click on the link and join the stream. And if you've never clicked on the link to join the stream, if you don't want your face on the camera, you just don't allow access to your camera. You just allow access to your microphone, and then all we'll hear is your voice. So, all right. And for the person out there who wanted to call in later today, I hope you are out there because I can't go too long because I still need to run to the grocery store yet and get some things and then get home and make dinner in time. So, yeah, I did put out a video on the Panhandle fires in case you missed it. And with regards to the 72, Texas Panhandle is, you see the 144, 54, 72, just like Jesuit order. Again, the fires began on the Pope's 72nd day of his age. And a day after the person set himself on fire at the Israeli embassy in D.C., who was from Texas. He was from San Antonio. Again, his name, Aaron Bushnell, equals 142. He did that on the 142nd day of the war he was protesting. But again, Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, Texas Panhandle, 72 like Jesuit order. Pope Francis became the first Jesuit pope on the 72nd day of the year back in March 13th, 2013. Donald Trump posed with Pope Francis. Donald Trump went to Fordham, the Jesuit University, posed with Pope Francis on May 24th, 2017, the 144th day of the year. And it goes with JFK too. JFK met with the Pope on July 2nd, 1963, was killed in Dallas, Texas, a span of 144 days later. And you see the 54? Look at Dealey Plaza. Dealey Plaza's got the 54. Ambassador Hotel, where his brother was killed, has the 54 and the 153 like Jesuit order. So I'm guessing the gentleman who wanted to call in is not out there right now. And so far, no callers for anything else to observe. If we don't have anything in the next 30 seconds or a minute, I'm just going to wrap this up because I do have things to do. But told a gentleman in the world I'd be going live later today, and he could call in. He said he'd be looking for it. I see the comment about 27 in the entertainment world. That really has more to do with the word ritual. You see how ritual is 27 and 45? It's just like how Donald Trump was called the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and it was the 27th anniversary. Again, the Berlin Wall fell in 89. Trump called President-elect November 9th, 2016. And Berlin Wall is also 63, like 2016 is the 63rd triangular number, which is why Muhammad Ali died in that year, and the Prophet Muhammad died at 63. And again, years in advance, we said why Muhammad Ali was going to die at 74. But yeah, ritual, big numbers with ritual right there. 971.
This is LAF from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I was a little disappointed that nobody's calling in when you're spending your very extraordinary and precious time, to educate us. But so I'm just popping in. I just wanted to thank you for providing us with this incredible information that's not coming from anywhere else. And those posers, if I may, I'm not happy with them. I'm glad you're exposing them, because the truth is in fact the truth. That's its nature. It surfaces. So it's going to do that, and we just need a spokesperson. And you're the most educated, proven, tested person out there. And believe me, I've done my homework. So I just wanted to, indicate to you that we're out here, and we can't wait to hear more. And I'm glad you're making dinner for Sweet Lady. I mean, you're teaching us all kinds of good manners and lessons and diet and health tips. I mean, this is a superior channel.
By the way, with regards to health, kombucha. Instead of drinking those nasty soda drinks that give you bad stomach bacteria, kombucha. Good stomach bacteria right here.
They're being advocated. Yeah, and people are making them at home in their closets.
Well, you can do that. You can do that.
But, it's like, it's improper to not be educated and try and introduce some sort of, fabulous, health situation, because we've been crippled by other people's opinions this entire time, and the information may or may not be reliable. So it's like after doing that, but I've never done kombucha, and I won't, and there's a reason, because it's got bacteria in it. But that's just my opinion.
But it's good bacteria. I mean, your body needs good bacteria.
Well, that's entirely true, but our bodies are provided with that. All of us, except for me, that I know of, carry two viruses within us all at all times. My guides told me that. Okay, we won't go there. But I carry one. Now, I just feel that people need proper information, and all I wanted to do by virtue of this phone call is just tell you that I think your channel is definitely the most reliable.
Well, I appreciate that compliment. I'm glad you're still out there. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm out here. And I also want to add something, if I may. It's not, posers. I wish everybody else did, because I've been studying for 3 decades. Numerology, astrology, gematria, et cetera, and I've been paying very dear and hard attention to what you've been doing for the last 6 years. And I just really wish that, it's a wish that people would understand, where to, accumulate their information from. That's why when I type, I say, stay home. Because it's like, when you find something really good, you don't have to explore anymore. It's like, just study up, get your, with your land legs and just make sure you comprehend that math is the key to everything. And that's your, obviously, your jumping off point. And, you know, it just, like, it pains me to watch these people comment on the chat and then find out that, you know, they're just being a little bit silly. You know, it's like they don't realize that, you know, first of all, the internet wasn't there when I grew up. Okay, we had to go to the library. We had to study books. We had to go to class. We had to do all these things. Now it's push a button. Well, I just want them to push the right button, because this I have done my homework. I've done the legwork. I am one of those people. I'm a boomer. And, you know, people need to realize that they have something at their fingertips. Very, very, very available. But they can't take it for granted. It's stupidity. So, you know, I am very emphatic about this channel because I've been watching intensively, like virtually on a regular basis. And I just want people out there, the children especially, to know that stay home. When you find something good, take advice, but take advice for the good of your life. I'm not saying to take any advice, and don't invite it. Let it be solicited, but and volunteered. But this channel, this is math. And math, and okay, let's get a little bit biblical. But this is the language of God as far as I'm concerned, and my studies are, you know, concerned. And it says so in the Bible if you want to go that direction. But it's like, people don't understand that Zachary T. Hubbard. Hey, I just want to stop. I hope you get that radio show going. I see you as the next, well, way better than Joe Rogan. But I'm very excited about it, and I think you should go forward. I will back everybody I know behind it because they trust me. They know who I am. They know how scholarly I can be, you know, when it comes to anything cosmic or spiritual or just mathematics, geometry. Those are the things I love. Productivity, I love that. I love, you know, organization. So a lot of people trust me, so I don't want to let them down. If you get that radio station going, or however that's going to operate or look like or work, you know, you're going to have a fantastic response. Trust me. That's my gut vibe.
Well, I appreciate that, LAF. And I'm glad to know you're still out there, and I appreciate all your generosity in the past. I do got to wrap this thing up, though, because I do got to get a number of things done, and I don't live close to the grocery stores. Small town living, the grocery store is like 20-minute drive each way. So anyway, I do appreciate the support.
Yeah.
All right.
We take care. We want to take care of your personal life too.
Well, thank you, LAF.
We love you as much as we do.
Appreciate that.
So, you know, whatever you say.
All right. You have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, take care. Hold on, and we have somebody else calling. Is this the person who wanted to call in today?
No, Zach. I usually call in during the sports stream, but I don't know what happened to that guy.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll keep it quick. I know you gotta go. Yeah, I'm well aware. I like the work. I'm gonna continue to support you. Not really presidential related, but is I mean, I look at all of them. I try to find, you know, practice my decoding with, you know, some of the news that's going on. But I was wondering, somewhat topic related, any relationship between like the crypto market and the presidential election.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see anything like the only thing I found, like even running, you know, the big numbers we were talking about tonight was 60 and 47, putting in all the names and, any significant locations or events. So all I saw was crypto all-time highs, matched with Donald J. Trump, like 220 in two different ciphers. But I know Bitcoin's been going crazy. It's at like 61K, I think, today. I just wanted to see if you had any news or thoughts or parallels on the election and crypto.
Well, yeah, isn't it interesting how it's right around the 60,000 mark on the 60th day of the year? So yeah, I'll have to look at that more. I'm aware it's well up. Yeah, some gentleman donated $150 in Bitcoin to me at the beginning of the year, and I just keep it in the Cash App, and it's gone down, but now it's way up. The $150 donation today is worth like I think $380 from when he donated it. So yeah, the Bitcoin market's definitely done very well. And I want to say he made that donation probably about 6 months ago, but it's way up from then. So
yeah, definitely keep it. It's gonna help us sponsor a lot of the things that you're doing in the whole movement. But yeah, man, I appreciate the work. I'm looking forward to the podcast. I don't know what ideas you have as far as scheduling and we're gonna work in the different topics, man. But appreciating you and your work and looking forward to what the future holds for us.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Well, I appreciate the support. Thank you, friend.
Later.
All right, take care. Okay, I realized one other thing I need to say about today. We talked about how the Jesuits began with 60 members originally, the Jesuit order. And the word order with the simple, most simple cipher, simple English gematria, the alphabetic order is 60. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, it's 75. And what's interesting is how this year, this ritual going on the 60th day of the year for this upcoming 60th election, today's date numerology is 75. That's what we talked about this morning. And, I was showing how not only is today's date numerology 75, it's the 75th day of the Pope's age. And that's important because Catholic Church equals 75 and Roman Catholic 75. Again, that's who the Jesuits serve. Ignatius Loyola is 75, the founder of the Jesuits. Order out of chaos. A lot of things are 75. Adam Weishaupt, that's the Jesuit who founded the Illuminati. But New World Order is also 75. And again, once upon a time, October 6, 1940, this was the headline in the New York Times, New World Order pledged to Jews. That was on a date with 75 numerology. And what you have to ask about that headline is, well, who did the pledging? It comes from the New York Times, that headline. The New York Times has always been run by Jesuits. And again, just think about how interesting that is, that today's the 60th day of the year with 75 date numerology, this big ritual for the upcoming election. And with regards to the New World Order and Texas, and you think Bush's, let's just go back and listen and remember what nation we live in. And by the way, that date on the screen is not correct. People, it's funny how everyone misdates the date he did this. It was September 11th. But it was 1990. It wasn't 1991. It was 1990, 11 years to the day of 9/11. And 11's the master number. And again, New York's the 11th state. The World Trade Centers look like an 11. Flight AA-11 was the first in the building. But yeah, it's amazing how so many people misdate this speech. Let's go back and listen. And let me make sure I got my audio settings on right here. Because again, people need to understand this nation that we live in, it's not sovereign. We're the belly of the New World Order beast. And I think I got the audio right. You guys let me know in the chat if this sounds right when I play this.
Certain that we stand at a defining hour. Halfway around the world, we are engaged in a great struggle in the skies and on the seas and sands. We know why we're there. We are Americans, part of something larger than ourselves. For 2 centuries, we've done the hard work of freedom, and tonight we lead the world in facing down a threat to decency and humanity. What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law.
Okay, so a new world order. Here we are. as we open up the border and let everyone in from the world. 609, are you the caller who wanted to phone in today?
No, but it's Atlantic City. The last time I talked to you was last year's playoffs. The 49ers beat the Eagles beat the 49ers in the playoffs. And the one thing I pointed out was that it was 336 days after 336 days left in the year, and Eagles equals 336. I don't know if you remember that call, but the Eagles ended up beating the 49ers. But that's besides the point. That was the last time I talked to you. The reason you were just talking about Jesuit order, right? So I listened to you for a long time. I'm watching a new show on FX, Shogun. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's about the Japanese Civil War in 1600. Are you familiar with the show?
I haven't seen it. I've heard of it though. But yeah, the 1600s. That's in the Jesuit times, and they were over in Japan in that time. Go ahead.
Exactly. So the first episode, the whole, not the whole thing, but at some point, the Jesuit order is there, and they're talking to one of the regents of Japan at the time, and the guy says, "I'm from the Society of Jesus." Right?
Huh.
Very interesting.
Do you know what episode number that is?
Jesuit.
Do you know what episode?
Say that again?
Do you know what episode number that is?
That's the very first episode.
Oh, it happens in the very first episode of Shogun.
The very first episode, the whole shit starts going down. They're going through the whole storyline. They bring in these couple guys from, I guess, the Catholic Church into the scene, and he introduces himself to one of the guys that says, "I'm from the Society of Jesus," from the 1600s in Japan when nobody was there.
This show is brand new.
Brand new.
Look at that. It came out just the other day, the 58th day of the year.
It's on Hulu right now. You could get it on Hulu and maybe somewhere else.
Well, I was going to make the point.
It just came out on the 27th.
Yeah, I see that. So the show came out on the 58th day of the year, like Pope Francis is 58. That would have been 72 days after his birthday, like Jesuit order 72, and he became Pope on the 72nd day of the year back in 2013. And again, just, another example. And for people to forget, the last superior general of the Jesuits, Adolfo Nicholas, he died in Japan, and he died at age 84, like superior general's 84 and Jesuit is 84. But you see how Adolfo Nicholas is 225? He died on the day leaving 225 days left in the year in Japan on May 20th, that day that Ignatius was shot with a cannonball, and Adolfo Nicholas is 54 and 72, like Jesuit order. It's why you learn about the Jesuits and all the influence they have in the world. You just start to see their fingerprints are on everything, and it's just being aware of it. So interesting.
And it goes back, like you say, it goes back so long.
Well, it goes back to the
Japan Civil War, and the Jesuits had their hand, like, you know how you always talk about the Jesuits had their hand in all wars around the world?
Right.
It was a civil war in Japan in 1600, and the Jesuits had their hands in it.
And Lincoln blamed the American Civil War.
And the show is explaining this to you. It's kind of crazy.
And again, Lincoln blamed the American Civil War on the Jesuits. Look into that for everyone who doesn't know. He said at the beginning of the war he didn't even realize that they'd done it, but then it all became clear to him over time because it was explained to him and showed to him that the Jesuits were behind all this political manipulation. This is the game they've been playing across the world, just keeping people fighting over themselves as then they take a hold of their nation. And it's definitely happened here. And right now we're fighting over two Jesuit puppets, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So.
And it's crazy. So the 201 number, right? And this is off topic. I apologize. I wanted to stay on topic, but I just wanted to bring this one point up about the NBA that I've been keeping an eye on, is the 201 that you always talk about. When a player has 201 or a coach has 201, like days after their birthday, I realize that's particular. The player never hits their player props, and the coach often loses that game, right? And the situation tonight is the San Antonio Spurs, whoever they're playing. the coach, they're a big underdog. The coach on the opposite team is 201 after his birthday. Now keep an eye on that game tonight because I see, and then I saw Jackson from Memphis. He had 201 associated with his game maybe last night or the night before. I don't remember. He didn't hit his player prop. He needed like 20-something points. It didn't happen. And last time I saw that, the coach lost with the 201. So I'm keeping an eye on that 201 tonight with San Antonio.
Okay.
So there was a big dog. Cover.
Just what you're saying, I remember one of my favorite 201 sports rituals was Matt Ryan, who's Jesuit educated in his 201st career game. He gave up a huge lead to the Cowboys, kind of like how he gave up a huge lead to Brady. And then they had to put up a stat at the end of the game showing that Brady, Matt Ryan, and Drew Brees, who were all in the NFC South at this time, had the amount of passing yards that was the equivalent of walking 201 laps around the Cowboys stadium. It's like, come on, man. Like, look at how contrived of a stat that is just to put a big fat 201 on the screen and Matt Ryan's 201st. For people who don't know, that 201 is another huge Jesuit number. That's why Pope Francis is the first living sweet 201 at the Vatican.
And that's why I brought up the NBA with the 201 because I know it kind of correlated, even though we're not talking sports, but the 201 kind of like bridged the gap there, and that's why I brought it up.
Okay.
And on another topic, the last thing, and then I'll let you go. Is do you have any more calls coming in?
Well, I just need to get off. I need to get off because I have things to do.
Get more calls.
I don't have enough time to get. I have to get off here real soon. So one more minute, and then I got to go.
One more, and then just my last point, and then I'll let you go. Is I'm into image consulting, and I understand the dip that your channel has taken, which is a disgrace because your channel is amazing. But if you're into synergy and working with people to enhance your image, to bring you into a better, it's all about marketing, right? And people's perspective and image, and that's a big part of it. If you're open to that idea, I'm gonna drop my contact information in the chat. Reach out to me, and we can have a deeper conversation. And I'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay, drop it quick because I got to wrap this thing up. But I'll look for your information. I'll screenshot it. So yeah, if you want to post that.
And I go by Atlantic City. I live right outside of Atlantic City. Like I said, we talked last playoffs. I haven't called in since then because I haven't really had a big passion and something I need to get off my chest. But tonight I felt obligated, and you were available, and the lines were open, and I took my shot. So
all right.
I'm gonna drop it in the chat, and we can have a deeper conversation down the road if you're open to it.
All right, sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
All right, I appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. Well, we didn't get the call from the person who I opened up the phone from, but sometimes things just work out that way. We got some good calls though. Shout out to John Mendoza. I started the stream talking about how it was John's observation today. I've been overlooking this all these years, that the Jesuits began with 60 members. Makes so much sense. Order 60, I mean, how perfect. And then John's doing some research on Billy Carson, because last night somebody called into TFR about how they think Billy Carson will help get the Gematria word out there. Well, according to John's experiment today, it doesn't look like it. But, yeah, I think a lot of people in the community have memos that this is the forbidden topic not to touch. And Sage Zero, man, I hope you won the lottery or something. You had a big donation last night and then another big donation today. So thank you, Sage. I appreciate it times two. Abraham Lincoln's vow against the Catholic Church is 32 pages, huh? Interesting. 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo, like when the Dodgers broke the 32-year drought versus the Rays. And, of course, America equals 32. Founded on a 32-date numerology. 64 days after the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuits. 64 spaces on the chessboard. International Chess Day out of Paris, France, the home of the Jesuits on the 201st day of the year. All right, yeah, I got to go, you guys. I got to drive away, get groceries, get home, make dinner. Otherwise, I'll get a spanking from Sweet Lady. So they're like, we know who wears the pants in that house. It's like, it's not exactly that way, but hey, if you live with your Sweet Lady, you know, If the lady's not happy, no one is, okay? My sweet lady, man. But the thing is, whenever I disappoint her with the food when she comes home, as soon as I get it ready and it's out there, it might have been like 15 minutes of grief I was running behind, but then once it's ready, she's all back to the sweet mode. And I was like, oh, what a nice turn of events. Anyway, oh, hold on. Carl says, did you get my PayPal? Carl, you're another guy who I just really wish, I mean, I love you, Carl, but I wish you'd stop donating because you've just been so damn generous. You have more than a lifetime's worth of donations. Hold on. Just forget where to go. Well, Carl, you know what, Carl? I bet you sent a PayPal to like GematriaEffectNews at gmail.com or something like that. Because I don't have that one saved in my phone. You didn't send it to my normal PayPal, but I bet if you sent it to my email, it's there. So I'll look and figure it out, Carl. Next time I live stream, I'll be like, hey, Carl, I got it. And I'm sure it's there. But you might have sent it to one of my other emails. So, hold on, Carl, are you in the chat? I can look real quick. Do you know where you sent it to, Carl? Because I should get like an email notification that you sent it there. Carl sent a big super chat one time that somehow never came through. Unless they're just like, we're not letting Carl send you anything else ever again. Carl, I'll look more into it. I'm not seeing it right now, so make sure if it did send that they're not gypping you again. We don't want that to happen, but I'm sure it's there. I'll figure it out and appreciate it as always. And I am planning, the plan right now, unless, everything gets too crazy. The plan is tomorrow I want to do the radio show test, and I'm not sure what time I'm going to do it at, but it's just going to be a test to make sure the platform works. Looks like I got to meet somebody between 12 and 2 tomorrow. We'll see. I'll get it. I'll get it done. We'll figure it out. But tomorrow, anticipate the test run of the radio podcast program, and we'll make sure the thing works. And then if it does, we'll invest in the platform, and we'll start churning out a podcast and hopefully get a higher end radio show. And the one gentleman drop his information. He sent it to the ZachHubbard83 at gmail.com, huh? That's my normal PayPal. I didn't see anything from Carl. Unless your name's not Carl on the PayPal. For the gentleman who said he wants to drop his information, just send me an email to GematriaEffectNews at gmail.com with your information and just say Atlantic City Caller in the headline. Because, yeah, I do got to run, you guys. Again, thank you everyone who hits the like and the share. And if you start the video over, there's a brief pause because I had to go run and answer the phone. You might just want to fast forward through that, but... Carl, I'll figure out where it is. It's got to be there. I mean, if you sent it there, it's got to be there. So, thank you again, friend. I appreciate it. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and until next time.